for a show as I've had for this one, where just people at the place I work at, they've been like, oh my gosh, my son, my nephew, my niece are so excited. Forget Elon, forget Zuck. They're so excited to hear Mr. Beast start. So I feel like I finally made it in life now.
Sure, that just tells us how old we are.
That is true. We are very, very old. Hey, Reed.
Hey, man. Thanks for having us. This will be fun.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
I know you and I have been talking about this for a while, so I'm glad we could make it happen.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Jimmy's getting some tweets out, and then I think we should be able to get going.
Yes, sir. I'm just happy to follow up with the same guy who just interviewed Elon. That's so cool.
Thank you. I have so much to ask you about that because I would say you're probably, the by far the most popular guest. We had Zuck on board, but I think after Elon, you're probably the one who has given us the most interest. So there are a lot of people who are really excited for this.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I threw up the tweet. All right, I'm all you. Let's have some fun.
All right. Let's get started. Gary, hit the music.
Where is the music? There it is. All right.
Live from San Francisco and here on Clubhouse, it's the Good Time Show, bringing you today in technology. And now your hosts, Artie and Sriram.
That's awesome. Gary, I'm so glad you're back because the music is good again. Thank you.
Awesome. I heard it was, not so good last night.
Yeah, no, it's true. Hey, folks, welcome to one more night of Good Time. This is a show, Sriram, I, and a motley crew of folks, Gary Tan, Steven Sinofsky, we all do pretty much every night. We usually do it at 10 p.m. PST, so thanks so much for being flexible today. At 6 p.m., we have some very, very special guests on the show, so we wanted to move things around to make it happen. And we generally cover, technology, product, movies, TV shows, current culture, what's popular, that kind of thing. And the support has been fantastic. I think a week ago we got Elon Musk here, and that was really great. It just blew things up. We had few folks like Mark Zuckerberg, and then we had Jason Blum and BJ Novak, and we've just had some really good guests and just people coming in from different walks of just life, culture, tech, all of that. So I'm very, very excited for tonight's show. I hope you all have fun too. Please send us any feedback, comments, questions you want us to ask on Twitter. I'm RTR, Sriram is Sriram K. And yeah, I'm really excited to kick this off. Sriram, to you.
Yep, I have to say, Elon and Zuck were just a warm-up act for what is today definitely the main event. All right, I'm going to get to our main guest in just a second. I want to introduce everybody else. First off, we have Steven Sinofsky, a longtime executive at Microsoft and author. Steven's kind of like a third sort of leg of the show that shows up. So thank you, Steven, for joining us. And today, I didn't want to do this show without getting some real heavy-duty help, just given the guests we have today. So we have a lot of people who are going to help us out, and these people are all really special in their own way. So first up, we have Gary Tan. Gary is a venture capitalist at Initialized Capital, a longtime founder, but also an amazing YouTube content creator. He has amazing content up on startups and founding. You should definitely go check it out. So thank you, Gary, for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Wow. All right. This is well produced.
We're going all out.
Yeah.
And also, I'm really excited about these folks. So I want to introduce somebody really special, Colin and Samir. Colin and Samir, I actually, got to meet them through their work on YouTube. And if you haven't checked them out, you should definitely go subscribe and check out their YouTube content. It's Colin and Samir. So these folks are probably my favorite people when it comes to the creator economy and YouTube creation. They've been working on YouTube for a long time. They've been working on the Lacrosse Network, the YouTube Sports Network. But in recent years, they've been branching off in so many amazing creative ways on YouTube. They've been doing podcasts. They've been working with, Samsung and, helping Samsung sell millions of phones. They worked with Yes Theory on their first documentary. And honestly, if you just see that YouTube channel, these are some of the most fun, chill, interesting, and nice, warm human beings that you can meet. And so, Colin, Samir, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah.
Wow, thanks for that welcome. That was awesome.
That was very nice.
We're really that's ridiculous.
If it's annoying,
wow.
I can stop, but I just
We're going.
soundboards.
We're really happy to be here. I mean, we're happy to talk about all things creator and all things. We've studied things that Jimmy does. We've been on the platform for about 10 years. We're excited to be here, and we're excited for the conversation.
Awesome. Thank you, both of you. They're just great. You check them out. All right, and next we have Reed Dusher. Reed is the CEO and founder of Night Media, and before this he was an NFL manager turned entrepreneur. But Night Media basically manages the most interesting people online, people like Dude Perfect and our guest. And Reed is amazing. I've learned a ton from him in terms of how the internet works, and he has a bunch of interesting projects. So, Reed, again, thank you so much for making this happen, and thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, man. Excited to do this. And Colin and Samir, I think, I know Jimmy and I did a video with you guys. Is it the most viewed video on the channel right now? Last time I looked, it was like 1.6 million or something like that.
That is our most viewed video on our channel.
There we go.
So thank you, Jimmy and Reed.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, and now to our main event / guest, and this person generally needs no introduction. Jimmy Donaldson, but as the world knows him, Mr. Beast. So let me go get the accurate number. As of right now, Mr. Beast has 52.8 million subscribers on YouTube. I would say, without a doubt, he is the most interesting content creator, just personality online. And I think calling him a content creator vastly undersells what he does. When I was talking about the show to a friend, this friend said, and this friend's son was overhearing him, and he was like, "Oh, Mr. Beast, I know him. He's like the greatest philanthropist that exists right now." And my friend was like, "Wait, what about Bill Gates?" I don't care about Bill Gates. Like, Mr. Beast is the biggest philanthropist that exists right now. So it just tells you, he's an entrepreneur. We're going to talk about that. He's a philanthropist, and it's probably, the most interesting people online. Jimmy, aka Mr. Beast, this is an honor. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to get into some interesting stuff, and also I threw out a tweet. It wouldn't be, an event with me if we didn't give away some money. So we're going to pick one random person. I don't know when, but at some point during the show, and give them $10,000. Because why not? I think that's kind of fun. It'll keep things interesting. Yeah, I probably should have told you before the show. But so there you go. We'll do that. And let's talk about all things YouTube, and let's have some fun. I'm ready.
Wow. Wait, are we in a Mr. Beast production right now?
No, sadly, I won't make a video on it, but I think it's just cool. I mean, why not? I don't know if anyone's been giving away money on Clubhouse, but it seems like a fun way to spice things up.
All right. Wow. Okay. That is awesome. That is awesome. Okay. Great. That will definitely spice things up. Okay. So, Jimmy, maybe one place to start off with is. Oh, by the way, my phone is already blowing up from people who want picked up. Hold on. Just let's
to spare him, I'll pick whoever gets the $10,000. At some point, I'll just scroll through, tap on a random picture, and pull you up.
Yes. Jimmy gives away money. I don't give away money. Jimmy's a philanthropist. So, Jimmy, we have an audience here. We have a lot of technology founders here. You have a lot of people in Silicon Valley here, and honestly, a lot of people who are just fans. It turns out a little bit popular online. Maybe a good way to start is just, tell us a little bit more about your story. I want to get to the Mr. Beast personality in just a bit, but just tell about where'd you grow up and how do you get into YouTube, and just tell us more about your background.
Sure. I won't go super in depth, especially because the people who don't know me, you probably don't care too much. But I started making YouTube videos when I was 13, so I'm coming up on 10 years. And basically, when I was a young teenager, you can expect that the videos were pretty terrible. And so that was basically the younger years of my life, was just making videos, and they sucked and they got no views, but just slowly learning what did well. And then around when I was 15, 16, I just got really obsessed with just studying what made a good YouTube video. And I'm just very briefly paraphrasing. I mean, there's so much stuff, but again, I don't have to go in depth. But I basically just spent many years of my life just relentlessly studying 10 hours a day, just how to make a good video, what type of things go viral, what people enjoy watching, And, you know, like it started off studying the algorithm and what gets promoted and what's the difference between a video with 100 million views on YouTube and 1 million views. But then the more you study, the more you learn. It's really just the algorithm just promotes what people want. And so by studying what goes viral, you have to study human behavior. And so it's just relentless obsession over just how to make the best videos possible throughout my teenage years. And then, just slowly. I mean, and just this also for context too, because now I'm giving away millions of dollars a month. But when I was like 14, I couldn't even afford a computer or a microphone or anything, and you know I wasn't making money off of YouTube. So I was literally like saving up $1 a day for like 2 months just to buy a microphone, and I got 200,000 subscribers on YouTube using an iPhone, like a really old version of iPhone. I couldn't even afford a camera. I had to like beg my parents for like a used iPhone. And so it was very scrappy, just started, slowly worked my way up and literally reinvested everything for my younger teenage years. And as, you know, I got more money, I just spent it. And when I made $1,000 a month, the next month I spent $1,000. When I made $10,000, when I was, 18, the next month I spent $10,000. When I made $100,000 a month, I spent $100,000 on content. $1 million a month, $1 million. And I just reinvested everything I've ever made off my YouTube videos and just kept trying to make the best content possible. And that's kind of how I got here, where I am now. And like, you know, the most high level way I can explain it without boring you guys, just basically relentless obsession and reinvesting everything and going all in and having no life.
Wow. Okay. There's a lot to unpack there.
I know, right? It's hard to synopsis your entire life. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I first of all, I think there are so many reasons why people look up to you, and a part of it is just, I think you make people feel like they can just be you, because just the story that you just got to right there. And I think we're going to spend the next hour talking about all things YouTube. Like I spoke to Jimmy just a little bit before this call, and one thing that we're going to talk all about YouTube. We're going to go really deep. So I'm going to get into all of
I can literally tell you guys how to go viral. I mean, I've helped people getting 10,000 views a video go literally like 100x their views and get like 10 million views, or actually that'd be like 1,000x on a video. Like it's like YouTube isn't as complicated as people make it seem. And what do we have? Like probably like 30 or 40 or 50 videos with over 50 million views on YouTube in just like the last 2 years. So I could teach you how to make things go viral, and that's the type of stuff I want to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it. And a lot of people here have YouTube channels. Like Gary has, I think like 50,000 subscribers. I just kicked off one which has like about 5,000 subscribers. Colin and Samir have a few 100,000. All right, it's a lot of people just like thousands. By the way, the room just filled up and tweets are blowing up. As you can probably tell.
Yeah,
let's get into it.
It's really hard to like let people in. So sorry about that for folks who can make it. We're really trying.
Yeah. So let's just get right into it. How do you go viral on YouTube? What works and what doesn't?
Yeah, I mean, to put it as simply as possible, you just have to make a video that people click. Because at the end of the day, like if someone doesn't click on your video, then they don't watch it, right? Video that people click and the video that they watch all the way through. I mean, like, and it sounds so bare bones, and like people get pissed when I say that, but that is it. At the end of the day, if you make videos that people click and watch, like they get promoted. And so many people get so caught up in like dumb things like comments and likes and things like that, but it's like it doesn't even make sense for YouTube to prioritize that. But even though I made it sound simple there, right, there's, a million ways you could study how to get people to click a video. And there's, quite literally unlimited ways you can perfect a video, make it better, from the pacing to the intro to just the payoff and, what frame rate, cameras, anything. You can obsess over every little thing of a video every other day and never perfect it in your lifetime, because there's no such thing as a perfect video. But, the better you get at it, that's essentially the more views you get. And I hate how simple it is, because I wish I had something crazier to tell you, but that's it.
I have a question for you, Jimmy, on that note around, essentially getting people to watch the whole thing. Obviously, getting them to click has a lot to do with thumbnail, but
yeah,
sometimes when you and I have talked, I'm curious around your pacing when it comes to videos. Like when someone actually clicks through on your video, how do you think about the beginning? Like, how do you think about their experience in the first 5-10 seconds? Because sometimes you do videos where you're giving away $1 million, but in a traditional film, that might be the culmination of the whole video, is that it ends with someone winning $1 million. But you actually do it in a different way. So I'm just curious if you could talk about some of the ways that you think about pacing. Yeah.
If anyone here is trying to grow on social media, or I guess specifically with videos, like obviously, majority of viewers that click on your video will decide in the first minute whether or not they're going to watch it, right? That is where you're setting expectations. It's like, first impressions last a lifetime with people. Like, it's the same thing with videos, right? If you click on a video and the first 30 seconds are average, you're going to lose like 40-50% of the people that click on it. But if they're like, great, you hook them, it's fast paced, it's energetic, and it really tells them why they should watch the video and convinces them to watch it, you'll have more like a 10 to 15% drop off. And that like 30+% difference that you made up there is 30% of people that are watching longer in the video, which is just such a big competitive advantage that it just your watch time's so much higher. And like, obviously the video is going to perform better, and it's just better for the viewer. And the more people enjoy your videos, and because the more they watch it, the more they clearly enjoyed it, the more they're going to watch more videos. And like, again, a lot of people get so caught up in algorithms and focusing on that they forget, like, if a video has 60 million views, like that's 60 million real people, and if you want to get that many views in your next video, they better have enjoyed the last one. They better not have felt like they got cut, like it should be a great video that makes them want to come back time and time again. And that's how you go from 1 million views to 2 to 3 to 4 to and stair step it up, because if they really enjoyed the last video they watched, they're going to watch the next one and the next one. But for a lot of people that are one-hit wonders, it's like they had one good video that was kind of all right. It's like, I don't really want to go watch 10 more of their videos, but that one was like kind of cool. And that's how, you have people that, blow up for a year and then fall off. Because they're not constantly pushing the boundaries and stuff like that. Yada, yada. I mean, I could go on about this for like 5 hours. So I'm going to let you guys bring.
Please do.
Keep you on topic.
Well, Jimmy, I love this quote. I saw in an interview you said, the beauty of YouTube is double the effort isn't double the views, it's 10x. I wonder how that, how did you arrive at that? And I mean, it comes out in your videos, especially as they've become more and more really just, production and how you've thought through that over the past few years. I'm curious, like, how did you learn that, that lesson, for instance?
Well, it's just in general, you should make every piece of, or at least YouTube, I can't speak to other platforms, but on YouTube, you should just make every video as good as possible. Like, I don't even care if, like, I go a month without uploading, as long as my next video is just great, because it's just, it's so hard to put into words, but viewers just can tell when you put in effort in a video. That's the thing, right? It's not just algorithms. It's like real human beings that are watching it, and when you go that extra mile and you put in that extra effort and you do that 15 seconds of content in a 10-minute video in that 15 seconds literally took 10 hours to film, like, people notice, and it makes them more willing to click on the next video, more willing to watch the next one. And like, it's like people can tell when you put in effort, and people like to watch things that, are high effort. And so it just pays back so many folds over. You know what I mean?
Jimmy, it's interesting talking to you. It's like kind of like listening to LeBron James saying, like, just shoot the ball and make sure it goes inside the basket. So maybe one great place to break this down is walk us through just your process, right? From idea all the way to like picking title, picking the thumbnail, shooting it. Like, for example, I spent the entire afternoon watching Mr. Beast videos. So Mr. Beast, like, you're welcome for the views I generated for you. But the island video or handing people a car, after giving Uber, any one of those videos, what was the process like from like, just coming up with an idea all the way to when it goes live on YouTube?
Gotcha. Yeah. So, I mean, for us, we brainstorm a ridiculous amount. I mean, I brainstorm ideas. I don't do it as much anymore because I have a bunch, but every single day I used to spend an hour brainstorming video ideas. And I did that for years. And because it's like, the thing is there's no such thing as a perfect idea. They can always be better. There's always a better twist that can make it more interesting and more clickable and just more entertaining of a video. So it's just relentless brainstorming, because it's like, let me just like kind of scroll through these and think of it. Like, last to take hand off $1 million keeps it, right? Just brainstorming till you come up with something that's just so interesting and so unique that someone can't find it. If you really want to go viral, like, and this is, I guess I should preface, if you want to like get super viral videos on YouTube. I mean, if you want to get like a few 100,000 views or even a few million, because certain niches are so big on YouTube. You don't have to go this extreme, but if you want to like consistently go viral on YouTube, you have to do something that basically just can't be found anywhere else, right? Like that's just step one, right? If they can find it somewhere else, it's not as special, and they're not going to feel as compelled to just watch it when it's on the recommended. So, and that all comes back to the idea. So just at the start, you just need something unique, and they read it and they just don't even believe it, right? That they just feel like, if they didn't watch that video, they're gonna like not be able to sleep at night. They're like wondering, like, what? Like, who won the $1 million? Or pick a different video that we've done. And so, great idea. And then on top of that, once you have a good idea, and I don't want to feed people hustle porn, but just like literally put in so much time into the videos and like spend so many more hours on it than anyone else would even imagine filming a video and working on a video. Like a lot of our videos, we logistically work on them for months in advance and just planning them. Like, like it's so special. Like the one where we bought the world's largest firework, right? I want I want to film that video in, what was it, 2019. But the problem is, like, we didn't place the orders for the fireworks, and building them took too long, and it would take like 70 days. So I couldn't film it in 2019. And so then 2020 comes around, and I have like a 70-day head start, and so we can, work with these firework companies and custom build these massive fireworks and everything. And we couldn't end up getting them in time. And then literally, and the reason I kept pushing off, because obviously I want to do this on July 4th. After 3 years of relentlessly trying, we started many months in advance. It was 2017, 2018, or 2018, 2019, and it was last year, sorry. So July 4th of last year, we we started like many months in advance, and we were able to get them done in time. And like that video, I mean, we probably spent like $650,000+ making fireworks and securing permits and stuff like that. Months, getting the fireworks built, because it wasn't just the world's largest firework, because then it would only be like a 30-second video. We had to have basically the world's second largest and third, and you had to see what it looks like if you launched 10,000 fireworks and the world's largest sparklers and all this other stuff. So it's unique and epic. Awesome. And so it's basically just, we're putting more time into setting up these videos. We're putting exponentially more time into brainstorming the ideas than other people. And then when it comes to filming it, like the video looks like we filmed it in one night, but we basically filmed from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and then we slept during the day, and then we filmed from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. the next day, and then we slept during the day, 6 p.m. There's so many fireworks, and like the setups took like hours.
That's amazing.
You literally had to load the firework up with like a forklift. I would have to lay it in the ground because they weigh like 1,000 pounds. Like, and there's like 12 of them. Yeah, it's like for each of it. It's like nuts. But like all that effort on top of that spending, I mean, like whatever. What do most creators spend on a video? A few $1,000. Like we spent $650K on that one video. All of that combined, all those many hours of shooting, and then on top of that, we probably used like 10 cameras, and then 10 cameras across 20 hours of footage, or 20 hours of footage each. I mean, it's a nightmare to edit, and that's a whole separate just hell. And then you do all that together, and you have this video where, it's just 10 minutes of straight action of launching the craziest fireworks. Me and my friends just cracking jokes that are really funny. And it was one of the most viral videos on YouTube last year. And that's not me saying that. Like, they released a blog post of the most viral videos last year on the platform, and it was like number 3. And that's how you do it. It's a unique idea with insane amount of effort, insane amount of money in my case, but you can replace money if you don't have it, which is more effort, insane amount of time, and just like, it's just hard. But but the thing is, like, viewers see all that, and viewers can tell, and it makes it much more special. And yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, that's how you get like super mega viral videos.
Jimmy, you mentioned that if people don't watch, they don't click. And I know for the firework video specifically, when we interviewed you, you had a massive structure of a firework that you'd built just for the thumbnail. And I think the thumbnail is like this unique thing to YouTube. It's this movie poster that totally dictates whether someone clicks and enters the theater. Could you speak to like the importance of the thumbnail and how you brainstorm the thumbnail and think about it?
Yeah, and actually, it'd be fun if we had a small creator here, because I could just educate people by educating a singular person, which I feel like works best. But if we had an imaginary small channel in here, and that person had 1 million views on their newest video, what I would say to them is like, that's cool, you got 1 million views, but you probably had a 7-8% click-through rate. We'll round up. We'll just say 10% for simplicity. So that means 10 million people saw your title and thumbnail, which, I mean, like 10% is really high CTR click-through rate. People who saw the thumbnail clicked it on YouTube. So 10 million people saw it and only 1 million clicked it. And when you really start to think about it that way, like, oh, so I could have had 9 million extra views, 10x views if it was just more interesting. Technically, it's impossible to get 100% CTR. But hypothetically, right, every time someone clicks on your video, like 9 people decided not to. And when you really think about it that way and really marinate that in your brain, you're like, oh, I really need to get people to click these videos, you know?
Yeah.
And so then, you realize the title and thumbnail is important. But it's not just that. It's also, what was your experience with your last video? And this is the part that, since you can't quantify it, like so many people just don't, they don't really talk about it that much or act like it's a big deal. But if a viewer enjoyed your last video and they watched all the way through and they laughed, they thoroughly thought it was good content and high effort, they're gonna click your next one, no matter what it is, right? And so a lot of it isn't even the title and thumbnail. It's just, what is your experience with your brand and what was their experience with your last video? So if you consistently only put out good videos so that every single time they have a great experience, the probability of them clicking is so much higher. And then you also, have interesting ideas and good titles and thumbnails. It's a slam dunk. You know what I mean?
Hey, Jimmy, question for you on as you've become kind of this, you had a relentless obsession with YouTube. I'm curious, when you were growing up, were you watching, what were your inspirations? Like, what were you watching? Were you primarily watching YouTube, or were you inspired by movies or television? Because a lot of your stuff now is almost in this pseudo game show format. Like you almost recreated Survivor on that island, right? So I'm curious.
TV. I mean, I've always found TV boring. It's like a lot of game shows too. It's kind of funny that the top prize is usually like a car or $10,000, and our more game showy videos, we give away $10,000 every 30 seconds, or we had a video where we gave away 40 plus cars. You know what I mean? So I don't know where their money's going, but it's not towards the prizes, which I think would make them a lot more interesting.
So you primarily grew up watching YouTube. Were there specific creators that inspired you, or just generally the ecosystem of YouTube?
Just generally YouTube. I mean, no. It changed basically every year of my life. You know what I mean?
Got it. Yeah, because it's interesting when you talk about going viral. You're specifically talking about the YouTube ecosystem, and of course, there's so many different social platforms to think about and choose from. But you've kind of hung your hat on being, on YouTube. You even took it upon yourself to make Rewind this year. You even take time out of your day to call creators, and there's so many creators that I talk to who have had great phone conversations with you, and you've helped us out with our content. So I'm just curious, why all in on YouTube as compared to other platforms?
Oh, I mean, that one's pretty easy. To people who are creators, you'll see when things like TikTok blow up or any other platforms, there's always, even Vine back in the day, there's always a wave of those creators going from those platforms to YouTube. And the reason why is YouTube's just the best place to monetize your content for a creator. There just isn't a better platform right now for creators to make money off their content. And on top of that, it's way more consistent. YouTubers come and go, but it's usually not like they're big one day and they die the next week, right? It's a slow, gradual process. But with TikTok and stuff like that, it's also much more ruthless. I mean, people blow up, hit 500K, and the next week they're like, oh, I can't even get 10,000 views on a video. So at YouTube, I'm all in on YouTube because it's better monetization. It's just more consistent. And also, you just would have to be crazy to not think that YouTube's just going to be massive in 5 to 10 years. I mean, think about it. Obviously, the same company that owns Google and Android owns YouTube. Anytime someone searches stuff in the Western Hemisphere, YouTube videos are going to pop up. And it comes preloaded on Android phones. By thinking YouTube's not going to get bigger in the long run is kind of betting against the internet. That the internet's not going to get bigger. Yeah. Right?
By the way, I think you just made a bunch of Google antitrust lawyers get really nervous right now. They're like, stop, move on, go to some of the topic, Jimmy. Go to some of the topic. I want to kind of even zoom in even further because, look, my phone is blowing up right now. We're going to try and get everyone in, but this is probably the hottest thing happening on the internet right now. Jimmy, I want to talk about just the first 5 seconds of a video, and also maybe bring Reed in. How important is the first 5 seconds, and how do you focus on that? I know Reed also kind of has some fun stories here.
Yeah. Well, Reed, I kind of just want to talk about this because this is one of those things where you can grind my gears and I will just go off. I hate when people
Jimmy, I told him we were sitting on the couch last weekend when I was in Greenville, and you and I were basically you like watched the first 5 seconds of the video, where like everyone else watches the first 30 seconds to see if they want to continue to watching. And you and I were like 4 seconds into a video, and you were like, "Yep, I'm bored. On to the next video." So I just wanted you to talk a little bit because I know you and I had like an hour and a half conversation around this topic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sadly, we already kind of hit on the point, and so I also want to keep the retention high in this room. Practice what you preach. So I don't want to re-hit the same topic too much, but of course, I mean, like I said, the same thing with if you get 1 million views, that means 9 million probably said no. If you have, well, actually, I don't know where I'm going with this now.
Well,
basically,
it was more.
You can have way better retention throughout the video if you just make your first 30 seconds like way better.
It was more on like misused words, right? And like you trying to figure out how to take out of a sentence.
Yeah. So I mean, it's weird. It's so weird. And honestly, to you guys who don't do YouTube, you're probably gonna not care too much. But like it's funny how long it takes me to film the first like 20 seconds of my videos. Like I'll probably film the intro like 40 or 50 times, and I'll write down what I'm saying, and then I'll have my like my director and just people who help me like think through things, like we'll huddle and we'll be like, okay, this is what I said, how can we make it shorter, how can we make it more interesting, how can I will literally like have a 15-minute argument with someone on why I should like say and or just pause instead of saying and, because it saves like half a second in the intro, like because it's that important, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like that's just me being hyper passionate. You don't have to take it that far, but yeah, I mean we've gotten to the point where we set aside a day before the shoot just to film the first 30 seconds because it's so painful with me because I'm such a perfectionist. Yeah. And then the next day we actually film the video because if we try to do it all in one day, it's just like not even possible.
I wanted to say, I think this is, for me at least, like I've always been on the consumer side of things and never like actually created any of the content here. And so, just like watching you speak about this, and I think just from the ideation process as well, I think this is a thing that people don't really get, like how much effort and just like months, years of work goes into this, and just the process. And for me at least, the comparison is to like building really good software and building like a good company, right? And it's like there's a lot of sweat, blood, and tears that goes into making a really beautiful experience. And I feel like people are just like, for folks at least like me who are like just on the consumption side, this is like really interesting to compare the two.
Yep. Jimmy, okay, we are about 30 minutes in. I want to switch things up, keep people entertained. Do you want to do anything about any of your money giving away plans? Should we keep going? You're the boss.
Well, I mean, if we are trying to have the best retention, we should probably wait till the end, just to be honest.
All right. Who am I to argue with this? Okay. All right. So switching gears a little bit, I want to get to, I would say, maybe Reed should also chime in here. All things Mr. Beast Burger, your partnerships, because that. Wait, did we just lose Mr. Beast? Jimmy?
Oh yeah. What happened?
Yeah, I think we lost
Jimmy. Oh, there he is.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
Oh. No, and he's gone again.
Did he get bored of his own show?
Oh, there he is.
He's back. Nope.
I think, by the way, we are stress testing Clubhouse servers all over again.
I think so too.
Crazy wild.
Yeah, Paul Rohan, if you're listening to this, we're really sorry to do this again in like a span of 10 days. This is, we try to be intentional about this, but we can't help it when somebody like Mr. Beast joins us.
Yeah.
It says it won't let him rejoin. Hold on, I'm going to send him an invite.
Yeah. All right. By the way, this is a time to plug. The Clubhouse team is hiring. Especially if you are a full stack engineer / technical person. Paul, I think, and Rohan talk about this a lot on their shows. you can tell they're blowing up. And if you are somebody who can sling around fantastic code, or somebody, send them to Paul and Rohan. It's just like they're having quite the moment. But we're gonna try and get Mr. Beast on. I think he just broke the app.
And also, like you guys are here too. We wanted to talk to you as well. Your creation process. For you, especially when you look at like the hardest video or like content that you've had to create, what's the amount of effort or thought that goes into it?
So I think while we wait for Jimmy, while we wait for Jimmy to come back in, I think a lot of what he's talking about too is the effort is on the front end, and of course the effort goes into production. But one thing that I think we've learned from just talking to Jimmy and other big creators on the platform is, if you spend more time brainstorming, more time in the idea, more time in the title, the thumbnail, and thinking about those first 5-20 seconds, more time in the scripting process, that's going to pay off quite a bit. And I think that's the reality, is the effort actually is really significant. And one thing that happened when, I talked to Jimmy on the phone about once a month and just talk about all things YouTube, I was very concerned around frequency and cadence of content. But as you guys heard Jimmy say, he's not as concerned about that. He wants to wait until he has the best possible video. And I think that's something different from how YouTube used to operate, where there was a lot of rewarding for, cadence and being daily or being super frequent on the platform. And I do think consistency has a lot of value. But at the end of the day, if you really spend time on the idea and you really spend time on the title and thumbnail, making something that people are going to click and they're going to watch all the way through, it's going to find its way through the algorithm no matter what. So Colin does a lot of our pre-production and a lot of that work. But as a high level, one thing we do is we make the thumbnail before we pick up the cameras to make the video. So we try and put as much effort into the title and thumbnail before we even, pick up a camera and start filming the video, just so that we make sure we're making something that looks and feels like something that's gonna get picked up by the algorithm, something that people want to watch. Yeah.
I just wanted to really lift up Colin and Samir here because, even before I even picked up a camera myself to start my YouTube channel, I was watching Colin and Samir and, sort of really inspired by their story from, they picked up a camera for a totally different purpose, which was, the lacrosse network, actually. So I don't know. I mean, I just want to thank you guys for being here and for honestly inspiring a whole generation of YouTubers.
Well, I'll say for us, I think we've been on YouTube for 10 years and, Samir always says this, but for us, putting ourselves out there on YouTube has been this ticket to the extraordinary. And we've never, when you put a video out, you never know who's going to see it and what type of outreach it's going to lead to. And I think that's been one of the most incredible things. And I think Jimmy is the ultimate ticket to the extraordinary, from where he started, the amount of things that he's been able to do, the amount of people he's come into contact with, it's just incredible. And I think that's what keeps us on the YouTube platform and so inspired by YouTube creators.
That's amazing. I think for us, we're just getting into this whole Clubhouse thing for the last month-ish or so. And, it's absolutely not at all the right scale or anything to compare with. But for me, too, when we started this, it was just meant to be this, kind of funny, goofy hobby thing. And it's amazing. You said ticket to the extraordinary. And for me, at least, getting these really, really interesting people, I've learned something new pretty much every single day. And, at some point in life, you get to this point where you just don't learn as aggressively on a every single day basis. And for me, I think this has just been really good to put ourselves out there a little bit, have some really interesting conversations and just listen for the most part and just try and learn as much as we can. So it's just been a fascinating kind of exercise for us too.
Do we want to ask Reed some questions about? I know we're about to shift over to Mr. Beast while we wait for Jimmy.
Yeah. By the way, before that, just for context, so Mr. Beast apparently turns out to be quite a popular person online. Did not know that. And him coming on board just blew up the app with interest. The Clubhouse team are working on it. We'll try and get him back as soon as possible. But until then, we're going to kind of keep hammering away. And we have Reed. I think you are super fascinating. Could you just tell us a little bit about your story, how you found Jimmy, and kind of this journey so far?
Yeah, Jimmy actually found me. So it was a Twitter DM between a friend this was early 2018 when Jimmy had 1 million subscribers, which sounds crazy to say now. But at the time, we connected over Twitter DMs, and you know, I knew like from the moment I met him that he was just had a different mind of how he thought about YouTube and how the platform was suggesting content. And he said this to me the first time I spoke with him on the phone. He said, "Hey, I know I only have 1.8 million subscribers right now, but I promise you I will hit 10 million subscribers by the end of the year." This was February of 2018. And he ended up crossing the year at 13.3 million that first year. And to that point, like in 2018, like getting 10 million subs in a year is like a crazy feat. And there were some things that had to go right. Like we did a video where he donated $40,000 to Ninja on Twitch, and that kind of started this whole like Twitch donation video that you guys have seen on his channel. And he did his first Last to Leave series. I think it was Last to Take Hand Off Lamborghini Keeps It. And so he just like kept creating these new formats of content that hadn't been seen on YouTube yet, and they were just getting tens of millions of views per week. And so like his rise from 2 million to 13.3 million, it happened so quick. And now like thinking back on it, like we've been on this like crazy train for the last 2.5 years. It just kind of seems crazy to think he went from like 1 to now 50. What did you say? It was 52.8, I think is what he's currently at. So it's been a lot of fun.
Reed, I have a question for you just quickly. As Jimmy was talking about retention, and, you know, we're live right now. This is like a live experience. Obviously, everyone can, you know, see that we're experiencing things that live programming experiences, like trying to get Jimmy back in the app. But you guys have gone into more live programming, breaking some records on YouTube, you know, Creator Games 2, Jimmy has gone live. I'm curious how you think about live as, you know, someone who has a sports background. You know, sporting events typically were reserved for live programming and appointment viewing. How are you viewing that with Jimmy and with digital creators when it comes to live programming?
I mean, this is also giving me deja vu for when we got doxxed on Creator Games 1 in front of 500,000 people. So hopefully we can get him back in the room. I know we're working on it. But, I mean, for us, like, when we really pushed into live with Creator Games 1, we actually, like, beta tested this with a video called Last to Leave Circle. And it was with 8 YouTubers. And originally we were just like, we want to get the community together where we have multiple large creators filming in a single video, and let's see how the community takes it and if they like it. And then the next version of that was Airsoft Battle Royale, which was a like $150,000 Airsoft tournament that we did in Los Angeles with 37 different YouTubers. And so those were like the two tests for us to be like, do people want to see YouTubers competing against each other? And we always knew that like the final part of this was going to be some type of live experience. And so when we started to think about like, how do we create a live experience that we know people are going to continue to watch for, you know, multiple hours? Because Creator Games ended up going on for over 2 hours. You know, for us, like one, like we talk about retention. So Jimmy like continued saying like, hey, we have to have things that happen like every 10 minutes, whether that, you know, the new Creator Games was like, we had like guessed how many Tic Tacs were in a hot tub. So then we had a different camera that it would pan to, and he had all these different things that would pop onto screen. And so he was thinking about retention from the very beginning. And for us, like that's just like one piece of live. The next one's like live commerce, and, you know, seen it.
Yeah, cool. I think one question I had was, how do you think about, you know, new platforms? You know, at some point YouTube itself.
Jimmy's trying to call me.
Oh.
And then hold on one sec. What's he saying? I'm trying to get Jimmy in here while also trying to explain this. One sec.
So by the way, just for some context, folks, you know, so we have Mr. Beast on for everybody joining in, and it pretty much melted down Clubhouse's servers. So Mr. Beast just broke Clubhouse. So if that's a headline, that's a good one. And you know, the team is working furiously on bringing him back. But at the moment, you know, we're going to keep going. We have you know, called in Samir on and we have Reed on, and
hold on.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah.
Oh wow! Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So I called Reed on his other phone, and Reed's putting his other phone up to his current phone. So that's how it happened now.
That's awesome.
This is fantastic.
That's awesome. I was going to say, maybe we could ask Jimmy something similar about. Yeah, go ahead.
It's being weird. It's not even letting me join any rooms. It's like, it just keeps going error. You can't join. I just restarted my phone and everything. It's like,
It won't let me join the overflow room or anything. I don't know what's going on. Clubhouse, what the heck?
Jimmy, this is your fault. Just so you know, you just broke Clubhouse. I hope you're happy. You just broke Clubhouse. It's totally your fault. But anyway, I am going to, Jimmy, I'm going to text you a link, which, let's see whether it works. But we should just keep going because this is crazy.
Okay. Yeah, text me a link. Let's see how it goes. We're going to keep telling you guys the secrets to go viral. Don't stop listening unless you just never want to get views on YouTube. Then stop.
Yeah, so I guess, just to keep the question going, I think, Reed, you were talking about this too on just building on YouTube and creating content there. Like, how do you think about new platforms? YouTube at some point itself was new and you guys heavily invested in that. How do you think about other platforms that are coming up, as you scale and as you build more channels and everything else?
Jimmy, can you hear that?
Yeah. I'm texting him. Sorry, we're just trying other links. Actually, I only half heard it. I heard other platforms scaling up.
Yeah, so sorry. I think I was basically saying, at some point YouTube itself was new, but you kind of took a bet on it and you kind of invested all in on YouTube. How do you think about new platforms that are coming up? Not any one specific thing, right now Clubhouse is new. But how do you think about going deep into multiple channels versus going horizontally across other services and other platforms that are coming up?
Yeah, I mean, in a perfect world, you would do it all. You know what I mean? The problem is for me and a lot of other creatives is our linear constraint is our time, and there's only so much time in the day. And like most companies, if you want to produce more, you just hire more people and set it out to build more products. But here. And on social media, it's you only have so much time that you can film each day, and so the more platforms you are taking on, obviously, the more you're spreading it thin. And if you're spending 2 hours a day on 5 platforms, I don't think you'll see as much success as if you're just spending 10 hours a day on one, because then the content you're gonna make for that one is so exceptional that it'll just do much better. So the thing is, I don't know the answer to what the perfect balance is. But obviously, there's no logical reason why you shouldn't be on every single platform. Technically, you should. Just the problem is, if you're being authentic in yourself and just you only have so many hours in the day. And so it's, I don't know, that's something I'm still working on figuring out what the right balance is. Because currently, I am super obsessive over YouTube and all in on it. But even these other platforms would be a good way to grow my brand and drive more traffic. And so, yeah, that's something I'm currently working on myself.
Jimmy, I mean, your average cost of video, I mean, it sounds like it's gone from, really from zero from when you started to, north of 300,000, or sounds like some of the episodes $600,000, or, I'm sure there are some that are worth, investment wise more than $1 million at this point.
Yep.
Do you think there is a cap to this, or does it just keep going forever and eventually there will be a video with you on the moon with or Mars with Elon?
Yeah, well, that's a fun one. So yeah, back when I first started, obviously they were all free, and so I think there's a lot of ways you can make a video interesting. One way is to have a bigger production budget, but if you're watching, because I want to be careful, I don't want people to think, the only way to make a viral video is to spend a bunch of money. We spent 24 hours in the middle of the desert and got whatever it was, 50, 60 million views. We've done so many things that anyone listening to this could do that went extremely viral. So just so we're on the same page, money doesn't directly correlate with views, and it's not necessary for it. Just be more creative or put in more time, and it'll outweigh it. But we definitely started off with obviously no money, and then as we've grown, it's grown pretty big. I'd say right now we're spending around $400,000 or $500,000 a video. The most I've spent on a single video is $1.2 million. It was the last big cat off $1 million one. That was a fun one. But no, I don't think there's a cap if you truly get creative with it. I mean, right now, my channel doesn't make money. My main channel. That's why I started my gaming channel, which is pulling 200 million views a month, and we have other side projects like that. Because it does get to a point. Hypothetically, if you were just trying to use the money off the videos, yes, it would cap. And I reached that a while ago. But if you want to keep going bigger, you have two options: either find other ways to make money or take on, sell equity or debt. Which I didn't want to sell any equity in my channel. I had 100% of it, so I decided just to build up other side channels, which is why we have quite a few of them. And like the beauty of a gaming channel is, the content is a heck of a lot easier to do. Just recording gaming videos for a few hours as opposed to literally months of setup and a week of recording on the main channel. And also they're just not as expensive, so they generate extra money. And so I just, I go, the gaming channel made whatever this month, $1 million. All right, here's $1 million to spend on videos next month on the main channel, so I can lose $1 million that month. And so that's kind of when you look at it that way, you could build a ton of other channels. You can build tons of other revenue streams like Beast Burger, which I'm sure that's something we'll jump into, is our nationwide restaurant chain and other stuff like that. And I just think that in my case, I think the thing that makes me special, and you can ask Reed and people like you and my mom, they think I'm crazy, but I don't care about making money. I just want to make the best videos possible. I literally can care less about making money. So
I love it.
Yeah, which is what's OP. And I think I am the first person to ever look at YouTube that way, with not a mindset of like how much money can I make with the least amount of effort possible, where it finds like how much effort can I put in while spending the most amount of money possible, which is completely backwards and irrational. But with that mindset, I think it can go basically as high as you can dream. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of effort.
I think that is so inspiring, Jimmy. Okay, quick. I think a lot of people are kind of curious what's happening. So first of all, Mr. Beast just kind of melted down Clubhouse, and so we are using this elaborate, fancy technology where Reed has his phone up to the other phone, and so that's why you're hearing Jimmy speaking through Reed. This is not some like weird ghost position thing. So that's what's happening right now. Truly incredible moment. And again, I don't want to gild the lily too much and repeat this over and over again, but I think we might have broken Clubhouse. But Jimmy, okay, moving on to something.
Literally, my Clubhouse account won't let me join a room. Not even just this room. I just can't join a room. So I don't know what's going on. Well, my Clubhouse account literally broke. So I just Reed, because I know Reed has two phones. I called him on his second phone. I was like, slap that bad boy up to the other one. Let's keep going. And that's where we are.
I love it. Okay, so moving topic just a bit, right? So talk to us about the burger, right? You broke the App Store. You were number one app in the App Store almost immediately. It came out of nowhere. It's something no YouTube creator has ever done before. Talk to us about how the burger came about and what your plans are there for the future.
Yeah, that's a big one. For the people listening, what was it, Reed, like 6 months ago? 6 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 6 weeks ago, we launched a nationwide burger restaurant chain. We literally, day one, launched 300 restaurants across America, which I don't know how we pulled that off. It's stupid. Day one. And we've been scaling up, and I think we're going to get up to 400 sometime soon. I don't even know where to begin. There's so much to unpack there with this one. But honestly, Reed, you want to help me out with this?
Yeah. Let me back up. So Jimmy and I actually got this pitch a while back of everyone wants to do like cloud kitchens and virtual restaurants. And I think initially, when Jimmy and I took the pitch, or I guess it was Ezra and I took the pitch, our president, we weren't really that thrilled by the idea of doing ghost kitchens. But when we started to actually think about okay, how can this benefit society? We were like, okay, what if we didn't do ghost kitchens? We actually went to independent restaurants and burger chains that were struggling, and we basically tried to double their business overnight. And so
exactly, and we just went to them and we said, hey, if someone on Uber Eats or Grubhub or whatever their favorite delivery app places an order for my Beast Burger within 6 miles of your restaurant, right? If we give you the bags, or some of them bought it, but you have the bags, you have the food, will you just fill the order for the delivery guy to pick up and deliver, and it should generate tons of extra revenue to you, which would be the easiest revenue of your life. And so that's how we got them on board. Keep going.
Yeah, and so we have obviously goals that we're trying to get to 500. In the next few months, we ended up launching with just under 300. We're currently at about 340. With the goal at the end of the year being around 1,000. And so when you think about how quickly this scales, and that was the interesting part for us, is wow, we can actually get to 2,000 locations pretty quickly here worldwide. I mean, we just launched Canada. We're going to do the UK, Australia next. And so we're going to pop these out as quick as possible. But we actually, and this was like something that people continue to ask Jimmy and I on Twitter, we actually didn't use ghost kitchens. We don't have a single ghost kitchen. We didn't want to take business away from existing restaurants while they were struggling. Like, we wanted to actually bring business into those struggling restaurants. And so
let me touch on that one. That was a fun one because you can see some of these videos that people have texted me of, like, literally small restaurants literally about to go out of business. And I haven't even really talked about this type of stuff publicly, but they're struggling to pay their employees, and some of them aren't as extreme. It's just like, yeah, they're probably gonna have to lay off people, but no one enjoys laying off people. And then when we launched Beast Burger 6 months ago, it brought in tons of extra orders, and some of them are doing $1,000+ a day, and the profit margins to the actual restaurant are pretty good. So it's like bringing in like some good cash. And so some of them literally went from like having to about to lay off people to like they're hiring extra people to keep up with the Beast Burger orders on a daily basis. And so that has been my favorite part about it, is because not every restaurant we work with is a small restaurant, but for the ones that are, it's been a big game changer and a lot of extra revenue for them. And that was something that made me happy, and I was really glad that happened. And keep going, Reed. I don't know.
And I mean, and this kind of leads into like a bigger thing for us is like, we think creators are the new brands, right? And if, in 2 years, is someone going to go on DoorDash, or are they going to go on Mr. Beast Burger instead of going on DoorDash and ordering McDonald's? And I think Jimmy and I are willing to make that bet over the course of the next few years that like when someone is going on, let's just say Uber Eats, and they're looking at Burger King and Shake Shack and all these other ones, we think they're going to default and order Mr. Beast Burger, one, because it's a spectacle. And that's what we're working on right now, is like, how do we make this ordering process a spectacle that like people have to have it, right? They have to order. It's like same with like watching Jimmy's YouTube videos. Like people have to watch them. They like see it and they want to click on it. And so we're currently working on that right now. I think Jimmy just hung up. And then the other,
He's back.
Oh, he's back.
He's back.
All right.
Forgive me.
Yeah,
All right.
I can put that phone down.
Yes. All right. Oh my goodness. Yes. Stop. I don't even care what you were talking about. Heck yeah.
Hold on.
Party.
Hold on. Let me finish my thought here. And so, that was some extra multitasking. Okay, now I'm back. All right. And so this is really interesting too. And we actually saw it with the Super Bowl the other day. And I don't know if it was just a regional commercial or if it was a national commercial, but for those of people that saw this Sesame Street thing where you could buy Sesame Street merchandise through DoorDash, and I ended up ordering it, and I got my hoodie, my Sesame Street hoodie 30 minutes later. And so Jimmy and I actually like had this idea months ago before we even launched Mr. Beast Burgers. Like, yeah, you can order through Shopify and you can get something 4 to 5 days later, or we can have these like thousands of locations across the world that you can order Mr. Beast Burger from. And then we can also seed it with like exclusive items and merchandise and all these other things that we're going to launch through Mr. Beast Burger in the future. So it's also like a source of distribution for us to get things to people in literally 30 minutes.
So I have a quick question for you guys on this. You've done a couple things in the past year to bring the Mr. Beast brand from the digital space into the physical space, like Finger on the App and Mr. Beast Burger. And Reed, you were talking a little bit about, hearing this pitch. I'm just curious. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the audience right now who are wondering what it'd be like to pitch something or have some idea they want to pitch to you guys. How do you decipher between what you say no to, what you say yes to, and how did you land on saying yes to burgers?
I can kick that one off a little bit. I mean,
go ahead.
If you want a yes for me, it's got to be so stupid and so unfathomable and out there and just like not even believable that's how you get a yes from me. Reed hates it, but I mean, like I shoot down so many things, or I used to. Now he just knows, like, because it's got to be on brand, and I only want to do the biggest, craziest stuff that just hasn't been done before. So when we heard the pitch about being able to open up 300 restaurants, I was like, yes, heck yeah. And Reed, I know you had something to say. Go ahead.
No, I mean, we probably say no to 99% of things we hear, or like now I'm so trained now when people pitch me, I'm like, yeah, but like, how do we do it like in a Mr. Beast way? Right. Like, I was like, I love the idea, but like, how do we make it 10 times bigger?
And so that's like kind of where my mind goes now, just because of how Jimmy thinks and because I've spent so much time with him over the last 2.5 years.
Well,
like
the beauty of what we're doing now, though, is we're honestly just starting to build things ourselves, because it's kind of like awesome. we have a bunch of mobile apps coming up and a few other things that I haven't talked about.
Calm down.
Yeah, I know, obviously, but we have really big projects, and so for these, it's honestly kind of just getting to a point where it's just easier to own it. I think last month across the channels on just YouTube, not including Facebook, TikTok, or anything else, we pulled like 300 million views, and one thing that Beastburger has really shown that, like, if there's something I'm genuinely excited about and, like, my audience can tell I care about and I'm passionate about, like, it gets them excited as well. And it's been very, very successful. And so as we build more of these, it'll be interesting, because, I mean, I don't know many people who can just get and start a business and have a badass product and then just instantly get in front of just shy of 1 billion people within a month, and so, yeah, that's
as an investor. I mean, as an investor, I just wanted to chime in how awesome this is. I love funding consumer businesses. And, as a creator, you can be a far better kind of business than even the old establishment, which, to Reed's point, is the corporation, whether it's, Burger King or whoever else. I mean, people will have a real direct connection with you, Jimmy, the creator, one-on-one. And the creator, you can be thoughtful in ways that faceless corporations could never be. And you're pointing this out, like, just by even thinking about, hey, we want to actually help, the little guy instead of just using ghost kitchens. Like, that's so powerful, and it's so obvious that you're being human about it. And then ultimately, direct distribution is way better than having to pay for it. And you can basically, in 2021 and moving on to the next 10, 20 years, with YouTube rising, you can either be a creator or you have to pay all your profits to Google and Facebook. And I think that that's something that we're putting a lot of money into from Initialized. I mean, I just really believe in that overall. And just being a creator myself now has shown me how true that is.
Yeah, but the hard part, and this is what will be interesting, because I do think I'm one of the first people to really just reinvest goal and just, literally give up your entire life and just live and breathe making the best videos possible and obsess over it over the span of a decade. But obviously there are a lot of people who are seeing what I'm doing and who are getting inspired, and it'll be interesting over the next few years to see how people do it, because it is hard enough to just be a big creator, but then also to spin off these businesses and keep them afloat and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of potential, and I hope it's me, but I do think someone's really just going to crush it and figure out social media and figure out how to funnel that traffic into a business that makes sense and it's cool and, like, doesn't feel sellout-y, like it's organic, and, like, they're going to just do things that are just nuts, we couldn't even picture, because we have so much influence, you know what I mean? It's nuts. But the thing is, like, 20 years ago, this didn't even exist. Even 10 years ago, the concept was so new. It's like we always forget just how new this stuff was. Like 4 years ago, I was in high school. I had to ask to use the bathroom. You know what I mean? Like, it's so.
Thank you for making us all feel really old and underaccomplished, Jimmy. You just made everyone depressed this evening right now.
Sorry about that.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, anyways, point is, it's so new that I'm excited to see how it all evolves over the next 5 to 10 years.
So when you talk about evolving, and, like, obviously right now we're talking about how you're spinning out into other businesses and building IP around Mr. Beast, but you're also launching new channels and reinvesting into not only the main Mr. Beast channel and the content that lives there, but multiple channels. I mean, you even have a Beast Philanthropy channel that has over 1 million subs. I'm just curious about the scale that you're thinking about. Like, what do you want to do with all this? Like, follow up is, what is the biggest pain point while you are scaling into new businesses and new content? Like, what's the hard part about this?
Yeah, man, there's a lot there with that one. Well, I'll pick up one of the latter things you said about, like, what do I want to do with all this. So, gosh, I'm bad with multi questions. I have ADHD. I'm, like, good at laser focus, but I'm so bad at multitasking. But to answer the question of, like, what is, I guess a better way to put it is just, like, what is my end goal? Why am I doing the channels? Why am I doing this type of stuff? I don't know. For me personally, I lived that life, especially when I got money when I was younger, where I bought a semi-nice car, and I thought, materialistic things would make you happy. But I feel blessed that I learned pretty young in life that, like, you know, just chasing after the next shiny object is what I call it, and materialistic thing, like, oh, a nicer car, oh, now another car, or a bigger house to live in, or whatever, is kind of, it's kind of just not a way I want to live life. I don't know. It feels like, it just kind of, when you really think about it, it feels kind of sad. You're just always chasing this object, and you're convincing yourself it's going to make you happy, and then you get it, and you instantly want the next thing. And so, to your point, like, you mentioned the Beast Philanthropy, that's why I started that, and I found that I feel better, I feel happier when I'm helping people. It just makes me feel more fulfilled, and so I do YouTube because I just love it. I'm addicted to it. I couldn't stop if I tried. Like, I love it so much, but I enjoy making money. But it's not because I want to buy a mansion or a Lamborghini. I don't really care about that. So, but I just enjoy making money. It's fun to me. So that's why I like doing philanthropic things like the charity we have, and I could go more in depth if you guys want to hear about it. But I don't want to sound like I'm just trying to toot my own horn to make myself look good. But anyways, the long story short, I just feel like it's a better way to live life, trying to help people, than just chasing after objects. And when you die, you don't get to keep the money or the objects anyways. So you might as well, you know, do the one thing that fulfills you a little bit more and doesn't just leave you empty every time you get something throughout your life. If that makes any sense.
That's awesome.
Totally. Jimmy, you mentioned that it's hard enough to be a big creator, let alone starting other businesses. And, you know, for Samir and I, having been on YouTube for 10 years, it's been difficult every year. Like, I don't know if it gets easier. Yeah. And I would love to know, for a top creator like you, what are your pain points?
Yeah, what are my pain points? Everything. I mean, literally everything. I don't have enough time in the day. Honestly, I'm about to pass out. I've been going like 12, 15 hours a day the last week, and I'm at that point where I'm like, all right, I need to sleep in tomorrow. I'm about to break because I'm so tired. I mean, there's just, the pain points are you never have enough time in the day. There's always a better idea. There's always a way you can make the video better. That's the hardest part when you're striving for like perfection, quote unquote. Obviously, nothing's perfect. It's like, where's the cutoff point? Because you can always make a video better. You know what I mean? And so it's just like a never-ending thing of, like, you know, no video is ever good enough, and you know, not being content with that. But also, to your point of what's the biggest pain point, it's really hard, especially because the industry of just like doing these viral videos and stuff like this on YouTube is so new. It's really hard to find people that are just, I don't know, that just have a lot of experience with YouTube, right? Like, if I wanted to hire someone who's worked on a YouTube channel for the last 5 years, probably couldn't find one. I mean, like, where would I pull from? You know what I mean? It's a very small pool. So there's not many people that are super knowledgeable in, I mean, like, there are people who worked in NCNs and businesses. There are lots of people who work with YouTubers, but when it, like, really comes to, like, making great videos, there's not many that big of a talent pool. So it's really hard as we're scaling up these other channels and we're hiring, you know, I mean, dozens upon dozens of people. It's hard to just find, you know, great people that already know a lot of what you need instead of having to train them. So for a lot of people, it's me just going like, all right, just follow me around for 6 months, write everything I do down, and I'm just going to invest everything I know in you, and in 6 months you'll be decent at what you do. Like, forget about college. Just I'll just teach you what you need to know. And that's what we've had to do for a lot of them, because it's like, you know, like one video we're adopting every dog in a dog shelter and you know, and helping them find homes, and then the next we're going around a roller coaster 1,000 times. The next I need a private island in South America, you know, and then you got to figure out how to import 5,000 pounds of sand because I don't think it looks good enough, and I want it to look like an actual island. And it's like, how do you know, like, there's no college class that teaches this type of stuff, and there's no way you get this type of real world experience. And like, that's what we do on a weekly basis, every single week. And you know, and every week it also gets harder and more crazier too. So yeah, I mean, the biggest pain point is just finding people that you know, which I guess that's the biggest pain point for any company. Because the better the people, at the end of the day, a company is just a group of people, and the better the people are, the more successful you'll be.
That is crazy. Okay, Jimmy, two final questions, and we'll let you go. One, could you talk about you and Elon Musk? I know he was on the show last week. We need to get you back, and we need to get you and him talking sometime in the future. Could you just talk about what Elon means to you? And there's something about Elon in every room in your house. Could you just talk a little bit about that?
Did I tell you that I have a picture of Elon in every room? Or did I tweet that? I don't remember. But yes, I do. actually, in the room I'm in right now, there's probably like 40 plus pictures of Elon on the wall, and Steve Jobs. I have a picture of Elon and Steve in every room in my house, especially my downstairs toilet. They're right above it. People always think it's weird, but I find it funny. But no, I love Elon. I mean, I don't even really need to say why. I mean, anyone can tell with what he's doing from Tesla to SpaceX. It's very inspirational, and it's just, I don't know. He's such a perfect embodiment of like an entrepreneur, just kicking ass and being inspiring and just focusing on making great products and stuff like that. And it's just something about him that when I think of Elon, it just motivates me, you know, like especially during like production hell when they're ramping up the Model 3 and he was sleeping on the factory floor and working 15 hours a day. And it's like, you know, if I'm like 8-10 hours in a day and I'm already like getting tired, I'm like, you know, and I want to go play video games or something, I just think to myself like, you know, if Elon was me, he would just suck it up. He wouldn't go play video games. He'd get this shit done, you know? And like, so in that way, he just really like fires me up. Like, I've never talked to him, but just like thinking about him does. And I really respect him and love what he's done.
Well, I think we need to get you and Elon, you know, soon back, and you know, and also like, you know, I'm probably going to give the Clubhouse team a heart attack just mentioning that right now.
It would give me a heart attack.
It's going to be great. By the way, Jimmy, I'll tell you, I'm not, you know, just say of all the shows we've done, I think your show today has been the only one which has kind of been the exact same level of interest from people online as the one we had with Elon. So this is something. Okay, one last question. I think this is a good one to end on. I think a lot of people say, you know, you're going to be the first YouTube billionaire. Colin and Samir have made a fantastic video about it. I highly encourage people to go check it out. Could you just talk to us about when that happens? You know, I always love the YouTube comments, which is something like, you know, 2040 Mr. Beast, you know, hey Paris, I replaced your Eiffel Tower with a new one. But, you know, what's gonna happen, you know, when you have all that money, and what are you going to do with all of it? Could you just talk to us about it, and then we can wrap?
I love how you're talking like, yeah, when you're a billionaire, what are you going to do with it?
I mean, he's probably going to give it all away,
yeah,
right? In one single video.
Yeah.
In one single video.
Well, like I said before, the money is a means to help people, at least in the end, because you can't take it to your grave when you die. But I don't even want to think about that, like when, you know, having that much money or anything, because like people don't become billionaires or whatever dollar amount it is by saying, I want to be that. You know, they get to that point by just obsessing over, you know, like in Steve Jobs' case, just making great products. In Elon's case, like, you know, great cars or whatever. You know what I mean? They're not just sitting there every day, like, checking their net worth and be like, it's going up. So in my case, literally, I don't know. I just want to focus on making the best videos possible. I want to wake up. I want to obsess over that every hour, every single day, and do everything in my power to make the best videos on the internet. And I know that if I just do that, like, you know, I'll get where I want to be.
Bob, okay. Jimmy, contact him. This has been inspiring. Okay, before we wrap, I think we have one final bit of business from you.
We got $10,000 to give away. And also,
let's give away some money.
Give away some money.
Fun. Do we have to go? Can we go a little bit longer? Like,
we can go long.
I mean, yeah, I'm having fun. I don't know.
Let's get Jimmy. Can I ask a question real quick? This is very YouTube specific, but I know you and I had a great conversation around this. We talked about different, you know, types of content and different, you know, orientations of that content. But YouTube just launched Shorts, and that's something that you've gone long on. And I think explaining that and talking about your strategy with Shorts would be really interesting, because I know there's a lot of people who are probably new to it and haven't really learned about YouTube Shorts. So if we want to talk more YouTube, let's talk.
Yeah, I mean, we can. I don't want to go too granular with it, because obviously to the people who are watching that aren't YouTubers, I don't want to lose them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
We gotta keep it interesting for everyone. But yes, YouTube has been going really hard with short form vertical content. I mean, everyone in general has. Like, Instagram has Reels, Snapchat has their own version of TikTok, and obviously TikTok's huge. So I think it's pretty obvious that short form content's here to stay. So yeah, we started a Mr. Beast Shorts channel. It's actually doing surprisingly well, and Shorts on YouTube seems to be growing really fast. I definitely recommend if you are a creator that you should get into it, especially for someone like me who makes 15-minute videos. Like, it's a good hedge to at least have a channel or something that's doing really well with short form content. So if things in general just shift towards shorter content, you're not like completely screwed. You know what I mean? As people's attention spans gets you know, lower and lower. But Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. It's a no-brainer. Yeah, all of social media is prioritizing short-form content right now, and it's kind of like a new boom.
What about stocks and crypto as content? I'll let Shriram talk about that.
Look, we're trying to say something. We're just like, nope, we're taking over your show.
This is great. This is like,
I'll let Shriram take it.
This is exactly what Elon did the other day. Just so people, we had no plans, and Elon just, called up a lot of Robinhood without telling any of us.
Yeah, I think I see Vlad. Should we call him up?
Hold on. Let's just focus on one break the internet moment person at a time, people. One of them at a time. So, Jimmy, let's talk crypto. You've been tweeting a lot about crypto. You've been tweeting a lot about Dogecoin.
Well,
talk to us.
I haven't tweeted a lot about crypto. I tweeted asking if my followers are holding it, but still, yes, let's talk about it though. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So, what do you think? Do you follow Bitcoin? Have you been following like what's been happening the last couple of weeks? Just give us your thoughts on just crypto in general.
Yeah. Well, it's Bitcoin. Obviously, let me just start by saying this. If you take financial advice from a 22-year-old YouTuber that literally spends 24 hours in a desert with his friends for content, then you're stupid. So let me just throw that out there. But
better just again, we are not providing any financial advice here. This is not pressure or anything. I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, like I said, you're stupid if you get financial advice from me. Now having said that, I do think Bitcoin is... I'm pretty bullish on it. I have more money than I should in crypto, and it's just as time goes on, the way I look at it, right, is obviously everyone knows 21 million Bitcoins is all there ever will be, and as time goes on, more and more people are losing their Bitcoin by sending it to the wrong wallet or just forgetting their passcode, like that one news article that was trending the other day. What that guy had like $200 million and he couldn't remember the password to his wallet or whatever. So it's like, even if the demand for Bitcoin stayed pretty constant, right? It's like as people are losing more and as time goes on, and less and less gets released in circulation every day. So it's obviously nothing's guaranteed. I mean, there's a world where Bitcoin could be worth $10 in 5 years. I don't know anything, but my gut just says like there's a good chance it'll be worth a lot more than it is in the future, just based on those factors, as long as people still want it. So. I'm incredibly bullish on Bitcoin, and actually, since you mentioned Dogecoin, I have a funny story about that one.
Go for it.
Yeah. So, I hate it, but like 2 months ago, I don't know what it came from, and I was talking to one of my friends, and he told me that he bought a bunch of Dogecoin, and like we were joking around, and he like dared me to buy a bunch, and so I literally had $500,000 and that I was going to put in Dogecoin. And this was when Dogecoin was like half a penny, and now it's like 7 cents, so like 14x from there. And I was going to buy $500,000 worth of Dogecoin, and then I wanted to do it on Robinhood, but you can only like move 50 grand over a day, which is really annoying. And then I was like, I don't want to do this every day for 10 days. Like that's too much work, and so I just never ended up doing it. But I had every intention of doing it until I hit that roadblock, and that 500K would be like $7 million right now, and it's only been like 2 months. So
Jimmy, you know some brokers. So in the future, if you ever need to do a big buy, you got to go through some brokers.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna be dumb. But that was pretty painful, especially because I knew I had every intention of doing it, and then I just stopped. So if I could go back in time, I'd slap myself. But again, it's just funny because like Dogecoin is just literally a meme. Like there's no reason why you should buy it, but except for it's just funny. And then like that's why I think it'll be valuable, and that's why I wanted to put that kind of money into it, because the internet's weird, but I love it.
The internet is weird. Okay, Jimmy, I'm going to ask you one final question, then we're going to give away money, and then we're going to wrap this up, and then we're going to have you back on. Okay, final question. When are you going to get to 100 million subscribers? Give us a prediction.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. Well, I'm going to make it kind of vague so I give myself some leeway. I'm not going to give you a specific day. I know for certain. I shouldn't say for certain. I don't want to sound like an arrogant piece of trash, but
by the way, you've been sounding like an arrogant person like all evening. Yeah, just so you know, like you've not been sounding like this night.
If that's the case, then yeah, hell yeah, I'm definitely gonna hit it in the next month. No, I'm kidding. I think I'll hit it sometime next year, or early next year. It just really depends. Like we're just really trying to figure out how to get more uploads up, and it's obviously with Corona, it's been very difficult. And so that really just slowed down everything we were doing over here. But, depending on how that goes. So once we can actually start filming with people and stuff like that again, as, the vaccine gets more widespread, we should be able to ramp things up like crazy and it'll be fun.
Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. On that note, Jimmy, I believe we have
Yes. All right. I got you. He wants to kick me off, everybody. Let's see. I'm going to scroll through this list.
I have a baby. The baby needs some food.
That's fine. Me and Colin can run this. I'm kidding. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm just scrolling really slow through Clubhouse right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna.
We need a drum roll. We need a drum roll
right here.
Gary, do you have a drum roll?
Okay. Oh gosh, I'm really bad at saying names. Here, I'm gonna screenshot this profile and just send it to you. I don't even want to try. Here. Okay. Once again, texting him a screenshot of this name.
Okay.
Okay. There you go.
All right.
That's who I randomly tapped on. It's like 3
All right. Okay.
way down.
All right. By the power vested in me by Jimmy, aka Mr. Beast, we will be handing out $10,000. But Jimmy's paying for that, not me. Through Abhinaya Konduru, who is at It's Abhinaya on Clubhouse and at It's Abhinaya on Twitter. We will figure out a way to make sure this is you, Abhinaya. There you go. She is an investor at M25. She's been experimenting on a bunch of things, including Ask VCs, VC content Clubhouse.
Clubhouse file.
I'm just reading her
on Twitter and send you a message.
All right.
Perfect.
Congratulations, Abhinaya. And don't spend it all in one place, but if you do, make sure you get a great YouTube
Put it
video
on
out of it. That's financial advice. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. On that note, wow, what a moment. I just want to say, I have so many things to say. First of all, to everybody who listened, thank you so much. I hate using the phrase, we broke the internet again and again, but I think we definitely broke it at Clubhouse twice in 1 week, and this is quite the moment. And thank you for your patience. This is amazing experience, and I hope you all had as much fun as we did. It was electric up here. And just I want to thank, Arti. I want to thank Gary with all the sound effects and the questions. You definitely go check out his YouTube content. He's amazing. Special shout out to Colin and Samir. I sent them a text yesterday saying, hey, I have Mr. Beast on, help. And they were so kind, so gracious to jump on. So Colin, Samir, thank you so much. And again, you should go check out their channel. They're some of the smartest, nicest people I know on the creator economy, and they're just amazing human beings. So Colin, Samir, thank you so much.
Thank you. Can I throw one last thing out there? So I have 50 million subscribers on YouTube, but 20,000 followers here. It's kind of sad. If you could follow me, that'd make me happy. Boost my self-esteem. All right, take it back.
Yeah, I'll get to you. Steven Sinofsky, Reed, thank you so much for multiple things, for finding Jimmy, for holding up your phone to other phone to make it all work today, and all the things that you do. Thank you so much. You've been so amazing. You just built an empire. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks, man. This was fun.
Yeah, and last but not least, Jimmy, this is amazing. You broke the app. What can I say? Jimmy, Mr. Beast, you can find him on YouTube. You can find him on Twitter. Definitely follow him on Clubhouse.
That's all I care about. Just follow me here.
Follow him on Clubhouse, and
he has enough followers.
Do you want to come do this again some other time?
Oh, I'm always down. I mean, as long as it's about YouTube, I'm literally here every day of the week.
Wow. All right. Again, that's going to send some nervous tingles down the Clubhouse team right there. Okay. We always pick a song to end the show with, something which is thematically, matches the content of the show or the guest on the show. And I'm trying to figure out what I want to play for you, Jimmy. And so, without any further ado, Gary, can you play us the Mr. Beast outro song?
Mr. Beast 6000. Oh,
this is a classic.
Mr. Beast 6000. Oh, Mr. Beast 6000. Yeah, you know his name. He changed it once or twice, but I think it's here to stay. His thumbnails were the made in pain.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, everyone. This is amazing. See you day after tomorrow.